Hi, this is Lady from Keep Unfrozen Ministries and Pink Parties Press. Now, which four-letter words have the surprising power to change or restore us? There are four-letter words that I want to talk about today that can change your life. And these four-letter words you probably use a lot, think about a lot, but they can change things for you. They do change your life. They change how you use them. So what are these four-letter words? They are can't, don't, hate, and love. They're negative. Three of them are negative, but one is very, very positive. They all have very different connotations, and we use them in different ways in our common talk, or common parlance, as they say. So why are three very dangerous words? Well, one is the most positive word that we can attain. Let's look at them. Can't. I can't do that. I can't do ... You fill in the gap. What would it have been like if Jesus had said, I can't? Even in the Garden of Gethsemane, I can't go through with this, God. I can't go through because he knew what was coming ahead. He knew what the ask was for him. He knew the sacrifice, the pain that he was going to go through. But if he had used the words, I can't, can you imagine the difference our lives would be? Now, he did question things. He did say, do I really have to do this? But he never said, I can't do this. How many times do you say, I can't? When you talk to people, when they suggest things to you, oh, I can't do that. Sometimes people really believe in you and they see something that maybe you don't, and they say, oh, you should do such and such. You'd be really good at that. But you respond with, oh, I couldn't do that. I can't. Do you see how limiting these words are? I can't. I was talking to someone the other day about their book, and she brought in the word of self-advocacy and said that the words I can't is actually a victim statement. I'd heard of self-esteem and self-confidence and other self-adjectives, but I actually hadn't heard of the word self-advocacy. I was thinking this is quite amazing, because to be an advocate means that you speak up, and you usually speak up on someone else's behalf. You see something that's happening and you think, actually, that's not right, and you go alongside them, you're their best supporter, and you speak up and tell somebody else, this must not happen because it's not correct, it's not right. Now, if you were to be a self-advocate, that's even more incredible, because it takes away the word I can't and replaces it. It replaces it in your conversation. So if you hear yourself saying, I can't, change it and think and then say, no, I can do that. You could end up doing some amazing things. Now, if we look at the technology at the moment, we've all migrated to it to be able to have conversations with loved ones. And a lot of people are having to get over the, I can't do that, I can't do technology. Instead, they're having to say, I'm going to learn. And they have to learn Skype and Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and all the other technology that's out there. But they wouldn't have even thought of doing that if a lockdown hadn't forced us to reevaluate. Technology is wonderful. It's the main means of communications that we have today, and we need to communicate with one another. We want to see one another, and we still want to love on them. And as we can't do that face-to-face, then the next best thing is through the technology. And I thank God for that technology. So people have to get over the hurdle of I can't and actually learn to do it. But the funny thing about that little word is it gets stuck. It gets stuck in your head and comes out of your mouth because people are making great strides and doing things they never imagined they would. And yet they still have the dialogue going on with, oh, I can't do that. So they're doing great. They're using technology and you say, well done. Oh, well, I can't do technology, but they're doing it. But do you see how it gets stuck in the mind? How hard it is to shift that word? Can't. We need to shift it. We need to take it out of our vocabulary. So when's the last time you said it? Now, imagine if every time you say it in the future, you get a sudden jerk. There's a jerk in you. And that jerk could be from the Holy Spirit. He could be like tapping you on the shoulder and go, you said it. Come on, change your vocabulary. Now, others you could ask somebody else to remind you when you say that word, but it can be unhelpful when someone says, oh, you said that word again. Oh, you said it again, because it puts more guilt and blame and pressure on yourself. So be self-aware and then use self-advocacy to bring yourself out of that can't world. It can only be something that you decide to do. You need to say, I'm not going to have this word in my life anymore. Can you do that? I pray that you can, and that God will show you what he really wants you to do. Because the moment you say those words, I can't, God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, they're unable to work with you. It puts God in a box when you say this 4-letter word, can't. Now, how restrictive is that? Do you get it? The second 4-letter word on my list is don't. Now, it's quite aligned with can't, because people say, oh, I don't do that. I don't do cooking. I don't do painting. I don't do, you fill in the gap. Now, it could be that they've tried the things in the past and it just hasn't worked, so they just put it away as something I don't do. But you haven't learned the skills. You haven't honed the skills. I try to think what I don't do. And don't do, but I'm finding it really tough. So I might have to come back to that. I don't hear those words in our family very often because we're more of a can-do family. But obviously there are things that I spend my time on and things that I choose not to. And those might be the I don'ts maybe. I mean, I don't do negative people, but then sometimes I do, because I find myself supporting people who are half glass empty people. I mean, they're lovely people, but I do come away feeling quite frustrated and it pulls me down. And they might be as frustrated with me because I'm a half glass full person. And they might be thinking, oh, she's way too much. Everything's easy for her. What don't you do and why don't you do it? Again, it's a restrictive word, but it could also be a protective word and a good reason why you don't do something. So don't falls in between negative and positive. For the simple reason, I don't run down the middle of the road. I look both ways, as I was taught in the Tufty Club. Now that shows my age. Or even having the green cross code. I look left, I look right, no, I don't. I look right, I look left, and I look right again. And then I cross the road. In this country, I do it the other way around in other countries, obviously. So don't can be positive if you're using it to be protective. You protect yourself, and that is healthy. If you don't do things because you're scared, because you're fearful, and you haven't given yourself a chance to try it, then I would say that is more of a negative don't. But you say to young people and kids all the time, don't do that, don't do that. And it's usually because you want to protect them. But it can sometimes fill them with the I can't message. So once more, language is so powerful. how we speak it to ourselves, how we speak it to others, and how we write it. And these four-letter words in themselves are quite amazing. But what else? Well, I would say I don't spend too much money. Dennis would say the opposite. But he's not saying I can't do it. He's just saying he would rather I didn't. Now, I have very little interest in football, and I often roll my eyes when a preacher mentions football and goes on about their teams, and they do seem to go on about it. So I don't do football. And though TV football leaves me totally cold and the incessant commentary drives me out of the room, I have actually really enjoyed 2 football matches that I've attended in person. Interesting. The third 4-letter word is hate. Now, I guess that might seem rather obvious. I mean, the moment hate raises its head in your life, then you are diseased. It hurts you far more than the person that you actually say that you hate. Invariably, we hate a circumstance or a person. It's not like, oh, I hate eating green peas, I hate greens. We're talking about, a hate that goes more personal, that deeper than that, and is very, very personalized. Now, even saying the word, I notice that my voice changes when I talk about hate. It goes down, it makes me feel inside just really, the hate word is just hateful. Might say I hate my feelings, and it gets people down because it messes you up if you hate someone. Now, I acknowledge and I realize that to hate somebody, something's happened, and usually something very dreadful and very hurtful. But in a lot of cases, you still have to forgive them. Now, let me be clear. This does not mean you're saying what they've done is correct or right. But by forgiving, what you're doing is you're forgiving what they've done. The simple reason for whatever they've done is beyond your comprehension, because it's not something you would have done. Of course it wouldn't be. But the moment you hate somebody for their actions, for their behavior, for their attitude, if you hate somebody because of their religion or their color, it does something in you that twists you and makes you bitter and very, very unhealthy. It is only forgiveness and the next 4-letter word that can change that. And Jesus showed us this in spades. The fourth 4-letter word, which immediately puts a smile on your face, is love. Jesus was love. Jesus is love. Jesus came to the world to show them love and a better way to behave. And he didn't hate those who ridiculed him, who challenged him, or those who killed him. He actually forgave them. And he said that on the cross, Father, forgive them, because they do not know what they are doing. He could understand a little where they were coming from, but he loved them, and he loves you, and he loves me. And if we can't accept his love, then maybe it's time for us to change those other 3 4-letter words: can't, don't, and hate. Tip them on their heads, and then you could actually love yourself. Love yourself first, and then you can love others. That's what we're taught. And the more you love yourself, then you could love your neighbor as yourself. In today's world of COVID, lockdown, and a huge change in the way we live, love your neighbor is coming to the fore. We hear amazing stories every day now of people being kind to one another, doing something which pre-C-19 they would not have had the time nor the inclination to do. Now, it's happening all the time. It probably happened in small pockets before, but we are hearing about it, and it is showing love. and showing the love that God has put inside each one of us. Let me know your view and how you change your can't, don't, and hate and put it into love instead. Lady AD, keep unfrozen.